ready to go live, and we are nearly there. Still scrolling. There we go. What's up, Hacksters? It's Throwback Thursday, and it's also heading into, well, we're deep into the season of dark and winteriness, and you know, it's actually almost coming up to the solstice when it's going to start getting lighter again. But in the meantime, a lot of people are feeling tired and groggy, and I have a lot of trouble getting up out of the bed in the morning, and also a lot of us are going to be traveling. And last year, to help cope with these things, I created the Glow Up, which is, if you're familiar with seasonal affective disorder, it's precisely that. Basically, people get less exposure to sunlight, and you spend less time outside, and in general you feel kind of crappy. And part of that is based on you can remedy that by putting blue light, or specific wavelengths of light, into your face. You can shine lights at yourself, and it'll sort of mimic daylight or the effects thereof and help you feel better. And also it can help you adjust your circadian rhythms. Like, you know that thing about how you don't want to look at blue light screens before you go to bed? It's the same idea. They sort of wake you up. And that's actually the same effect as far as I can tell from the research. And so what people do is they build these lamps, or light therapy boxes, and they basically shine a bunch of light at you, and it helps counteract those effects. There are different ways of making your own DIY ones, but I was thinking, there's this whole badge life and badge love thing going on now. It's a phenomenon, and what if you could make a badge that would actually help you out, especially if you're at a conference where you might get a badge, for example. I think it'd be awesome to have one like this that could help you with your mood, help you with your sleep patterns, and things like that. Like if you're flying to a faraway time zone, this could help you have a better time. And so there are these ones that are like large, and they take a lot of power, and they're kind of bulky, and they take a ton of materials. And I was thinking, what if, if you have a lamp that's like yay far away, right? And it's shining a ton of lumens at you. I think 10,000 lumens, I could be wrong. It's been a while since I looked into the research for this. Right now I'm basically updating the design of this thing. What if you mounted it by your face instead, and then in a very safe way, as safe as possible, then you could use much less energy, use much less light. And if you could use LEDs to select for the specific frequencies that are operative on this, then you would have a compact travel version that takes less power, and you can just put on your face, and you can be mobile and stuff, and you could turn it into a wearable. So I've been working on that. And then I was doing research around this last November, and I discovered that there's 3 companies. Now I think there's even more, but at the time there were 3, Retimer, ProPeak, and AO, that I found, who were doing exactly this. And the great thing about this is that it's technology that's pretty new, and so they still have to convince people that they should drop hundreds of dollars on this, because the technology is new, so it costs a lot, and also people don't know if it's worth dropping that money on. So I was able to look at their science pages and basically hijack their research. Look at this. They've got the whole, how does light therapy change your sleep, green blue light therapy for sleep. They talk about, what the different wavelengths are that these come in, because they're like medical devices. And yeah, it's really helpful for someone like me who wants to be able to build my own. And I can do it without doing all my own research or being afraid that I'm going to super mess up my eyes. There are a few very important caveats when you're building something like this. So, for example, using the right frequencies. Blue light can actually damage your eyes, so you want to make sure that you're using the right wavelengths for one thing, but also that you're mounting them in the correct way. So you don't want to shine lights directly in your eyes in these wavelengths. You want to be able to shine them across your eyes. If you'll notice, all of these, none of them shine right in your eyes. They all have little reflectors and diffusers and stuff, see? Well, actually, his is kind of going straight in his eyes. But yeah. they mostly shine sort of down or up across your eye line, rather than directly into your eyes. And so I needed to design the same thing. And at first I designed this little face-mounted version that's sort of like a pair of glasses or a pince-nez where it goes over your nose and like da-da-da gets on here, and I thought that looked pretty cool too. That's the other thing, is it looks kind of cool. And I'm using ones with USB power because that is going to make it really easy to be portable. It's wired, so I don't have to worry about charging up a tiny battery or having like a 3.7 LiPo and also needing a transformer circuit. I can just straight up plug it into USB. So I looked up what types of LEDs I would need. I ended up with these ones. Let's take a look. This is V2. It's much more comfortable. I've got these. They are blue 3.2 volt LEDs. If I stack two of these in series, they'll require 6.4 volts. And that means that I don't need to use a resistor. I can just add more LEDs, more pairs of LEDs if I want to get more light out. But I'm definitely not going to like blow them out with a 5 volt source, even if it goes a little bit over. They are 20 milliamp LEDs, and they clock in at 470 nanometers, which I established from the company's research is a safe and effective wavelength range, even if they vary a little bit from the actual described wavelength. They should still be safe. So what I'm going to do now is that I was assembling V2, and then I realized that I did something really foolish, which is that, okay, so the design is pretty good. You've got a power plane and a ground plane. This is really easy. I just modeled it in Adobe Capture. I drew a little Sharpie sketch of this shape, imported it into Adobe Capture, which I love, as a way to turn sketches into SVGs. I imported it into the Bantam Tools desktop PCB mill, milled out the shape on a double-sided piece of PCB substrate, and FR1, and so one side is power and one side is ground. Here's the original, and then I'm just going to update this basically, but this time I'm going to use some copper tape that is not conductive on both sides, it's only conductive on the top, and that way I'll be able to not have this little bridging wire, but have things be a little bit more stable, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So yeah, foolishly though, I forgot that I needed to have two of them in series in order to get that 6.4 volt tolerance, and instead I put them directly across. So basically right now both of these are dead, and I need to remove them and replace them with the new concept. And then at some point once it works, I'm going to put a nice finish on this. These marks here are from double-sided tape that I used to secure the FR1 to the Bantam mill bed so that it would stay in place. And that's honestly the same thing I'm going to do, is just stick it to myself with double-sided tape. I've done this before with different circuits. Like you see here. Another blast from the past. This is from 2 years ago. Just like sticking a little circuit with animated LEDs onto my skin. And this was, I think, controlled by the accelerometer, but it's really hard to see. Anyway, so I know that it works, and actually by attaching this directly to my forehead, apply it directly to your forehead, but the little angles on the LEDs here sort of point them at my opposite eyes, and so it works really nicely, and it's a single device. So we're going to do this real quick. We're going to try and just modify this, and I only have a few minutes because we're under renovations. I have to kind of reconfigure the studio every day. And so it's taken some time to get up and running today, but I'll show you what I'm going to do, at the very least. And I would really love to get this out this winter as an actual thing that I can share with people, because I think that it should be really easy and it would help people a lot. That said, if you want to do this, I am not responsible for anything that happens to your eyes or your face or whatever. Huge disclaimer, this is a hack. It is not an approved biomedical device. If you choose to use this design, it's on you. So yeah, this isn't even published yet. I think it might be under bit.ly/glowup. Is it? Probably not. Nope, that's something else. But if you go to my profile on Hackster or click the link in the description of this video, you'll be taken directly to the tutorial. Again, I am not a doctor. I should put a disclaimer at the top here, actually. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a biohacker, and I want to make my own life better and provide an option for others to do the same. Disclaimer. I'm doing this while my soldering iron heats up. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. Build or use this device at your own risk. Lots of all caps. Okay, cool. We need more bold in there. Okay, cool. How's our soldering iron? It looks good. Cool, so let's first detach these dead LEDs. Oh yeah, this can be a bit of a pain because there's a giant copper plane here which sucks up all the heat. But actually this is working pretty well. Like, it's literally a heatsink. Come off there. There we go. Alright, so those two are off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little piece of this copper tape, and I'm going to have each LED attached to one side of the PCB and also to this copper tape that will connect them together. So let's do that. It needs to be pretty short, I guess. Oh, come back. Foolish thing. There we go. Broken glass everywhere. 'Tis the season of something. Here we go. All right. So again, this tape is conductive on the bottom, but not on the top. How am I going to do this? I'm going to make it shorter. Or rather, it's conductive on the top, but not on the bottom. Brain. Here we go. Okay, so now I have this. And it should be electrically isolated from both sides. I'm going to peel up the edges just to make sure. I could even use a multimeter if I wanted to check really fast. Make sure there's no continuity. But my multimeter is buried, so I'm just going to try and do this real quick and see if it works. And if not, I can always resolder it. Okay, that should be electrically isolated from both sides. Now I have to figure out which side is which on these LEDs, and I think I remember from before that the green dot does conform to expectations and is the ground side, but let's double check. She says, still fiddling with the tape. You gotta fiddle with it. We might have some sound leakage from above, by the way. If you're hearing some awesome pop music, that's our upstairs neighbors. There we go. Okay, cool. Enough fidgeting there. What am I looking for? I'm looking for my LED tester, which is a super janky little contraption. Which is an LED hole, or a, here we go, coin cell battery holder connected to two little jumper wires. Here we go. It's so janky, but it should do the job. Okay, so here are my LEDs. Let's pull out two of them. I found that it's actually really bright just with two of them, so arrow goes to the left right now. This is a little hard for you to see. Unfortunately, our regular setup is not in operation right now. Okay, so here's the ground one. Here's power. Okay, that works. Ground is to the left. That's the side with the little knobble. It's the side where the arrow is pointing to. That makes sense. Okay, so that means I'm going to put it like this. What's the best way to do this? Yeah, I think that should work. Okay, so I'm going to grab this, put a little dollop of solder on. I'm using lead-free solder. It's pretty great. Okay, that got all tombstone, so let's remove it. Come on, relax. They got some kind of pop version of Claire de Lune playing up there. I kind of like it. It's like a techno version. Now, the way I want to place this is such that it kind of angles down in, and that looks good. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to get any interference from the foil, but let's tweeze that a little bit to make sure. Just so that I don't short it out across the two sides of the LED. This is pretty delicate. Although I know people for whom it would be no problem. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yes, good. Alright, now I'm going to try and solder that to this big blob that's connected to the side here. That shouldn't be too bad. The nice thing about lead-free solder actually is that it does kind of have these weird thermal properties such that you can sometimes kind of guide it without melting the entire blob, which is nice. Okay, so now this is our connection to ground, and then the other one is going to go from the positive side to the foil tape. Is that actually connected? I think it is. I can check. If I do this. Oh, that's not connected. Oh dear. Let's check for shorts. That might be shorted. Curses. This copper tape situation may not be the best. Let's just double check the direction here. Ooh, actually, my tester may be broken. It's kind of fragile. That would be the best option, is that the tester is broken and the circuit is secure. Yep, that just totally broke. Strip it again. Oh, you know what I should do? I should replace it with Adafruit's silicone covered hookup wire, which is flexible and wonderful and better in every possible way. But since I have to go in a couple of minutes here, I'm going to continue on this fool's errand, because I love a good fool's errand. Let's tin this first. All right, there we go. Let's see if we can't get this to work now. Please. It always helps to say please. Oh no. Huh. Complete negative result. This is not optimal. And I know that the LED is 3.2 volt tolerant, and even when I put 5 volts through it, it shone brightly for a second. So I'm guessing that this just straight up doesn't like me. So what I'm going to do is put the other LED on and hope for the best. Yeah, the two broken ones are over there, so that's not the problem. All right. Put a dollop of... Oh boy. Oh no. Put a dollop of solder over here. I should have cut the copper tape in half, is what I'm thinking. So that it would be thinner and not cause this kind of problems. I wouldn't have to fold it like I'm doing. Alright, making sure to orient this in the correct direction. These LEDs are also nice because they have very small pads, which means that there isn't going to be a lot of risk of grounding them on the bottom, which is good for sort of really finicky work like this. Oh no! It wasn't connected! Oh no! Oh no! Let's try that again. Trouble is that... Oh! Come back. What I should be doing is using a third hand, but unfortunately I've turned my third hands into robots. So... this is what we've got. That's the wrong way around. Getting close. Let's make sure that's not shorted. It doesn't look like it is, but we'll find out. So right now what I have is basically the same as the previous iteration of this, where there is a... where is it? Oh yeah. We've got a two-sided PCB where one of the sides is power, the other side is ground, and the two LEDs are connected in series between them. So this should be the same deal, except that I'm using copper tape instead of little wires, and it doesn't seem super... it's not a good assembly method. But we're gonna see if it works. I am just in time to make it to my evening plans. Oh, it doesn't work! Oh no. Oh, hey! Oh, hey, wait. So if I squeeze it, I get one of them on. But... why? Why? You know what it feels like? It feels like it's getting hot. Oh, here we go! Yes! Okay, it's on! Yay! I think it was shorting with the power side. So this tape is not reliably... isolated. Okay, I clearly need more light here, but this is the general idea, that it would shine down from the brow area and basically look cool and be able to provide wakefulness. So, and eventually I'll have to provide some kind of a mounting system, but even now it's kind of cyborgy and neat, isn't it? Oop. I think I will put 2 more LEDs on the sides here, so that I'll get a broader distribution. These 2 LEDs would go to the left eye, these 2 LEDs would go to the right eye, and then they would all have this wonderful little proper wavelength. Excellent! Okay, cool. So that works. They're not dead, which is good. They are in series. They're both lighting up. And nothing's shorted. So I'm going to next time cut the copper tape in half and probably use another one of these little planchette things from scratch and add more LEDs. So another pair of them. Cool! Thanks for watching. I hope this is inspiring. I would really love to see more badge life devices that are really useful and maybe help solve problems. But at the same time, I realize that monkeying with your circadian rhythms and with your eyesight is not always the greatest idea. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have an awesome rest of your Throwback Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao. Wait,